Hello, hi. This is Mr. Nullum, and this is the Intro to Engineering Unit Test Cheat Sheet and BRCC. I'm going to talk about what is a cheat sheet, what are trigger words, and what is BRCC. So, tomorrow you will have your test, and you'll be able to use this cheat sheet to guide you through the multiple different problems that I'm going to give you tomorrow. I'm going to test your endurance. I'm going to test how well you know the knowledge and how well you can identify certain words to figure out the steps. Like I said, a cheat sheet is just a tool we use to take the test. Trigger words are words that give you an idea of the problem that you need to solve, or trigger words are like little hints or tips that tell you this is the type of problem that you have, or a step. And BRCC is just this tool that we're going to use to help us further better answer these questions. So let's go ahead and try it. So the directions say log into Google Classroom and access the cheat sheet video. And that's what this video is here currently right now. And it says watch the full video and find the trigger words. So I'm going to give you the trigger words for the 7-step engineering design process. I was going to give you 11, but we're just going to do 7. And you can pick up your pencil and write down these words. So whenever you're dealing with a scenario and you're talking about understanding, the first trigger word that lets you know that you have an understanding scenario is understand. Another word is problem, problem solving. Go ahead and add some more of these. Challenge, and purpose. Whenever you see these trigger words, you're talking about an understanding scenario or understand step. Next word is explore. A trigger word for explore is explore. Another word is research. And the last word is investigate. Now, define is going to be probably the most difficult. So whenever you're talking about define, you're not talking about defining a word. You're talking about defining the numbers of whatever product, whatever object, whatever thing you're engineering. You're talking about the specifications or the numbers. So specifications. That's one word. Requirements. Measurements. Numbers or specs. And so those are the trigger words for define. For idea, or how they pronounce it, ideet, that is just another word for idea. So whenever you're talking about ideas or formulating ideas, that is ideet. Another trigger word would be formulate, solutions, more than one solution. Another one, which is my favorite, is brainstorming. Next word, prototype. A trigger word for prototype is prototype. Another one is demo or demonstrate. Versions, plural. Attempts. And multiple attempts. Well, it's the same thing as attempts, so that'll be fine. So whenever you see any one of those words, you're talking about a prototype scenario. For choose, you want to look for words like pick one solution, decisions. That should be fine. And for the last one is refine. Add details. Proof read. Really, you're not proofreading. You're just looking over if you have any like kinks or any areas that you need to fix. All right, so those are the trigger words for the 7-step engineering design process. So whenever you see these words in a scenario, you should look at this list and see which step you're talking about. Let's go ahead and continue. So now I'm going to give you a scenario, and we're going to use this tool called the BRCC. And the BRCC is just 5 different steps. The first step is going to be R, read the paragraph or text. The second step is 2, annotate the paragraph or text. 3, look for the trigger words. Those are words we just went over. 4, compare trigger words with one another. And then the last one is pick a best answer. So let's go ahead and try this method out. So I have example 1. I'm going to read the paragraph or text. At this point in the process, the designer or design team has several different potential solutions for the problem. This step is where the designer will use the lessons learned from their prototyping to determine which concept is best forward with it. This is not always an easy decision. Sometimes it is the right solution just to reveal itself. Over time, it is difficult to even define the best. Teams can compare how each solution fulfilled the specification for the steps 3 in the process and see if one significantly better than one or the other. Which step of the engineering design process mostly relates to this step? So annotate the paragraph and text. So I'm going to highlight for you, you can understand. So at this point, a design process, a design team has several different potential solutions. So that's something I want to highlight. This step is where designer will use the lessons learned from their prototyping, so we know that this is after prototyping, to determine which concept best goes forward with it. This is not always an easy decision. Sometimes the right solution just reveals itself. I like right solution. Oftentimes, it is difficult to even define the best. So defining meaning that they have to pick something. Teams can compare how each solution fulfilled the specifications from steps 3 in the process and see if one significant better than the other. So you know that you need to pick one. So obviously that is going to be choose. And then for this one, we didn't really have any trigger words, but we also had other words in there that kind of gave it to us. And so you can see different potential solutions. It says before prototyping, you got to pick the right solution, define the best one. If you want the one that is the most significant, so you know that you're picking one because you had multiple solutions at first. All right, example 2. In this stage of the process, engineers take some of their concepts from the previous steps to make mock-up versions of them. The goal of the stage is to learn how each concept solution will function in real life and how it interacts with the real environment. This is also where the designer will start to determine which design concept will work best. So let's go back to the BRCC. So we just read it. Annotate the paragraph. So let's annotate it. In this step, the process engineers take some of their concepts from the previous steps and make up mock-up versions. Keyword version. The goal of this stage is to learn how each concept solution will function in real life and how it interacts with the real environment. Each concept solution, letting you know there's more than one. This is also where a designer will start to determine which design concept will work best. So the trigger word from there was definitely versions, which design concept. So that's obviously prototyping. All right. So now I want you to stop the video. You're going to do the you do on your own and do the exact same thing that I did. Just remember, all you have to do is read the paragraph or text, annotate the paragraph or text, look for the trigger words, compare trigger words with one another, and pick the best solution. Now you may say, well, we didn't use all the steps for each process. I kind of just solved it. So sometimes you can just do that, because you have common sense. But if you ever get stuck and you have like a hard problem, just use these 5 steps to help you through them. After you do that, I want you to read and annotate the following paragraph using the 11th step. Really it's supposed to be, it's only 7. Really, I only gave you 3. So I'm actually put 3. So I'm only asking you to read the paragraph below and figure out which lines correlate with understanding, explore, and define. And if for extra credit, I want you to summarize what you read in each box on the right side. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. Thank you.